You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If on the other hand you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. Away!
And good afternoon, welcome back. Today it is Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Spent quality time with the family. Saw you in church, tipped my hat. Always good to see you there. What'd you do? Yeah, you can tell me later. Anyway, if you are returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. We certainly are glad to have you with us. Thanks for coming. You know, we're in our second decade of broadcast history, so if you're new, grab your day planner and pencil us in for the next one. All right? I have a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you cannot see the chart and you would like to see the chart, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right hand side, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. Within 30 seconds, you'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. You only register once per month, but you do have to register once per month. Also at youtube.com/CFRN/live, we have a dual stream, so if anything ever goes down with the go-to, you know where to go. Okay. Wow, how about that Friday? Yeah, big day. They sold them off and they bought them back. That's Thursday. And then I guess here's Friday. And then they sold them off and they bought them back. And last night was pretty quiet. Now, I've said that, so let me now say this. my work implicates an incredibly volatile week ahead. I'm just one guy, and it may mean nothing at all. However, I saw the same thing last week, Sunday a week ago, and I kind of just pushed it aside. And then I saw it again last night, and I said, you know what, this time I better not ignore it. Based on my work, this week could have some volatility that we haven't seen since probably the housing crash, when the S&P went to 666. Look where we are now. Can you believe that the S&P was ever at? All you had to do was just buy it. I never have to leave the compound again. But most of us didn't. Now, here's an interesting little thing I'll show you. I'll show you later. You can wait. This is that trend line we talked about last night in the active channel. And this we talked about. We'll talk about it all in a bit. Let me give you a little bit of news. How about that? Get things rolling. A little bit of news. Home crypto mining is still popular in parts of Eastern Europe where private consumers and some organizations enjoy preferential subsidized electricity rates. Now, this may take a hit following a court ruling in Russia, a country with vast energy resources which often remain unutilized. A Protestant church in Irkutsk Oblast, a region in the Siberian Federal District, has been accused of mining cryptocurrency and asked to pay its electricity bill at higher rates, those applicable to corporate entities and industrial enterprises, because of what has been deemed an excessive power consumption. So churches there get their electricity at a discounted rate. The Grace evangelical community claims it was not using the servers found on its premises for crypto mining. The religious organization has already paid the higher bills for the periods between May and August of 2017, but has since turned to a court to request a refund for the surcharge of 11 million rubles. Now you're wondering, how much is that? Oh, I'm sorry, 1.1 million rubles. It's about 17 grand. The Regional Arbitration Court has recently turned down its claim against the local utility company and ruled that Grace really did owe the money after all. The church has most probably used the discovered hardware to mine cryptocurrency. They say its electricity consumption spiked in May last year and reached 2 million kilowatt hours in the months through August. The church trustees said they needed the energy for heating and to power printing equipment used to copy religious materials. However, the judges noted that the period in question was in the summer and quoted data reflecting the consumption of much larger temples and printing houses in the region for comparison. When inspectors visited Grace, they found a server room on the second floor. Does your church have a server room? We don't even have a second floor. Of the building occupied by the evangelical community, and determined it was designed for crypto mining. They claimed the excessive consumption was endangering the power supply for the whole neighborhood. The arbitration court agreed with their conclusion and ruled that the charged amount for the electricity was reasonable. It stated that the claimant carried out activities related to Bitcoin mining, which obviously does not pertain to religious activities. I guess that depends on how you see it. The mining church, just like many digital asset enthusiasts, has been benefiting from subsidized electricity rates. In Russia and other countries in the region, energy is cheaper for private individuals and other categories of consumers like NGOs, which is a non-governmental organization like we have in Kampala, Uganda. According to the website, these customers pay 1.22 rubles per kilowatt hour during the daytime and 0.70 rubles at night. We're talking 18 cents and 10 cents per kilowatt hour. The court ruling does seem a bit arbitrary, as even if the church consumed more than usual, it should still be entitled to the preferential rate. That was the argument. The case could potentially have negative repercussions for home crypto mining in Russia. And many ordinary Russians are taking advantage of the lower electricity prices for their households to make a digital buck or two with GPU rigs installed in their houses, basements, and garages. Raising the rates would actually stimulate illegal mining. There have been a number of cases of much larger mining facilities powered by stolen electricity. An illegal Bitcoin mining farm was discovered this spring in an abandoned factory in Orenburg. More recently, mining equipment was found in the control room of one of the assembly workshops of Avtovaz, the largest Russian car manufacturer. An employee had plugged the specialized hardware into the plant's grid. The hardware was in operation since last November, burning at least 600,000 rubles worth of electrical power, which is about 9 grand, to mint coins at an estimated value of 1.2 million rubles, or 18 grand. So they spent 9 grand to make 18. More cases like these are to be expected if Russian authorities clamp down on home mining. And also, Tether sheds its peg. After enduring months of scarcely moving, BTC because it was trapped within a tight range, and the USDT because that's its job, both coins have made big moves over the past 12 hours. BTC began to soar around 2 a.m. Eastern, hitting $7,500 per coin before settling around the $6,900 mark. Tether, meanwhile, began to slide on Bitfinex, flash crashing to as low as 88 cents after struggling to maintain dollar parity all week. Watching Tether die, tweeted constant critic at Bitfinex, who had likely been waiting for this moment all his life. In the midst of all the drama, Bitfinex issued a clarification stating that fiat deposits should be re-enabled by Tuesday the 16th. Meanwhile, the KuCoin exchange temporarily stopped USDT deposits and withdrawals due to wallet system maintenance. Needless to say, the movements of BTC and USDT are closely correlated, with traders seeking to escape the uncertainty of Tether in favor of a safer haven. We'll have more on this story and what it means for Bitfinex, Tether, and the crypto economy tomorrow. Well, there's a little bit of news. Now let's take a look at the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the US of A. These are the cash markets. We'll get to the futures shortly. Currently, the Dow is down 54 points. NASDAQ is down 59. S&P down 11. And the Russell 2000, up less than a point. In the commodity basket, crude oil down 17 cents, trading 71.21 last. Gold up $9.70, trading 12.3170 last. In the Asian markets, the Nikkei closed the session down 423 points, almost 2%. Shanghai was down 38, that's 1.5%. And the Hang Seng lost 350 56 points today, down well over 1.25%. And in the European markets, the FTSE finished in the green, up 33 points. The DAX was up 90 points at the close. The CAC lost almost 1 point. And so it is red in Asia, mixed by less than a point in Europe, and mixed here at home for a different reason. The Russell is green, but green by less than a point. So there you have a little bit of news and the numbers from around the world. Michael will pop in, I believe, right now and give us a recap of what happened in the live trading room today. And then we'll be back to look at some numbers, look at some charts, speak with John, and answers to your questions. Michael, if you're ready.
I am ready. Just doing the charts. Getting ready. Here we go.
Hey, does this sound normal? When I first put the headset on, it didn't sound normal. But does it sound normal to you?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, fair enough. Let me know when you've grabbed the charts and I'll move them up.
I already have them.
You got them.
I have them at this moment.
Boy, we've had more rain in the past week, I do believe, than we've had in the past year.
Really?
Certainly. In fact, I think I could go out on a limb and say we've had more rain in the past 2 weeks than we've had in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rain.
It is.
We had we had that hurricane or tropical storm Michael.
Right.
It was a hurricane down south, more south. But and it really did a lot of damage down there. It devastated some of those coastlines. But when it got up here, it was just pouring down rain for like 2 days, 2 to 3 days, just pouring down rain. And
yeah, Saturday it didn't let up. Saturday, and I think it's gone now. I think it's moved on. So we'll see.
Well, that's good.
Well, here, I'll let you get this recap done, and I should be here when you're finished.
Okay. All right. I'll get started then. Here we go. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 15th day of October, 2018. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net. And right over here, it says 5-day free trial, apply.cfrn.net. Click on that. And you will be brought to this page where what we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Then click the submit button. And once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. Now you must click on the confirmation link. Okay, so make sure your email is good. Because we get a lot of bad emails. But make sure your email is good. And click on the confirmation link. When you do that, then we know you took the free trial. We'll send you all the information you need to get into the live training room in the morning. Okay, spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you can read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. As I said, today is the 15th day of October. Today, the euro got us. We were over 2 with the euro today. We're minus 16 ticks. We made 7 ticks in crude, we made 12 ticks in gold, and 6 ticks on the ES to get us up to plus 165. Today it took 58 minutes and 7 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up $115 a contract, and we took a total of 10 trades this morning. On the month now, we're up 25.75. That's over 11 days, averaging 234 per day. 234 per day. On the year now, we're up 27,975. That's over 190 days, averaging 147 per day. Okay, 147 per day. There. Okay. Gold. Let's go over gold here. On gold, we had a few opportunities. We had this one right here. I drew these channels in here, the triangles and channels, to identify trending to one of the partners who asked about it this morning. You know, usually when you have lower highs and higher lows like we had right here, it's going to break out of that. Like we had right here, it's going to break out of that and give you an indication of what direction it's going to go, and then it'll go in that direction slowly, usually to start out, and then it'll start a nice channel like this. Okay, a nice tradable channel. That's what I was showing this morning anyway. Okay, so on the gold, we had this first one right here. We picked up 5 ticks on that. Then we had a break even there, and we picked up 7 ticks over here to get us to plus 12. We missed this short trade right here. We missed this short trade right here. And actually, this short trade was, yeah, right there. And we missed that one right there. Then during the break, there was really nothing during the break. And that was it on gold today. Okay. The euro, I told you the euro had our number today. We stopped out here. You know, in the pre-market, had a nice shorting opportunity right there. But once markets opened up, it stopped us out right here off the BBC. And we missed this short right here. It would have gotten us a little bit back. And we stopped out again right here. On this stop out, it got us pretty much to the tick, and then it went and did what it should have done. And then it was just choppy after that. Okay, but the euro pretty much had our number today. Crude oil. Well, there's a lot of activity in crude during the break. But let's go through what we did with it. Okay, we started out here with a shorting opportunity. We picked up 5 ticks there. Then we stopped out here pretty much to the tick, and then it went and did what it should have done, put in a higher swing. But we stopped out there, and that put us at -3. Then we had missed a trade there. We had a break even there. Missed a trade there. Both of those misses were nice wins. On this one, we picked up 10 ticks to put us at +7. And there was no trade there because we hadn't broken dynamic support yet. There was a bounce here and a trade there. Now, of all the trades that I missed, this is the only one that would have been a losing trade. This would have been a winning trade. That would have been a winning trade. All the ones that I missed would have been winning except for that one this morning. Then during the break, we started to trend nicely. You see this? Nice trend. A shorting opportunity there, and there, and there. And one more right there. And then the cycle started going up. Changed directions, had a long opportunity. We had to break that dynamic resistance. So the first long would have been right here, probably would have stopped you out. The next one would have been over here, could have gotten it back. And the last one right there, could have gotten it back. And that was it on crude. Now, the ES. Did we do anything? Yeah, we had 1 trade on the ES this morning. Hang on, let me find it. Come on. There we go. Keep going. Keep going. See, my zones didn't show up when I first put them on this morning. As a matter of fact, I messed things up this morning. The password was messed up, and I opened the room up at 7:30, and then I got in and realized about 10 people in there. And I asked them what password they used, and they all used last week's password. So I meant I messed it up. Okay, so right here was a shorting opportunity that we missed. Then it got really choppy. And another shorting opportunity right here that we missed. And this is the long that we took. We picked up 6 ticks on that. We missed the follow-up. Then it got up here in the zone, and I highlighted this trade, but I didn't realize it was in the zone at the time. And let's see. There was a shorting opportunity right here during the break, right down into the zone. Then once it dropped through the zone, there really wasn't anything that you could do in there. Not really anything at all that you could do in there. And that was it. That was my morning. Go back to the spreadsheet, and on the spreadsheet, If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. As I said, today is the 15th day of October, 2018. We lost this 16 ticks on the euro, made 7 on crude, 12 on gold, and 6 on the ES to put us at plus 165 on the morning. Today it took 58 minutes and 7 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're up 115, and we took a total of 10 trade opportunities today. So on the month now, 2575. That's over 11 days, averaging 234 per day. On the year, 27,975. That's over 190 days, averaging 147 per day. And that, my friends, was our morning. To take our free trial, go to the homepage at CFRN.net. Right over here where it says free 5-day trial, apply.cfrn.net. If you click on that, you'll be brought to this page where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Click on the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click the confirmation link. Okay? If you don't click that confirmation link, if you don't click that confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So make sure you hit that link, okay? Okay. And that is that. With that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready, in Studio A.
I'm ready.
Ready, excellent. Okay, John is not out there yet.
Yeah, I suppose he'll be along shortly.
I'm sure he will.
There we go.
There you go.
Charts.
I can see your charts.
Charts. So, what was the recap of the recap?
Today, it took 58 minutes and 7 trades to get to the goal for the day, at which point we're up $115 per contract.
Oh, now there we go.
Now you gotta tune that bell.
It certainly needs it. Well, I ran a recap. I did. And it looks a little something like this. And it is a weekly recap of alerts from the launch date, August 12th, through October 12th, which was last Friday. And so, FT means reached full target, PT is partial target. It reached at least a first target, or minimum of 60% plus if there is only one target. And stopped out is stopped out. The first week, 17% of the alerts were stopped out. And this week we had 45, you add these two together, 45 alerts in the green, and 20%, 11 were stopped out. 42 full target, 13 partial, and 17 stopped out. That's 24%. 43 and 6 with 19 stopped out put us at 28%. I think that was the roughest week. And then 33 and 9, 14% stopped out. 32 and 8, 9 stopped out, 18%. 31 and 9 with 12 stopped out gave us 23%. And 57 and 17 with 18 stopped out gave us 19% stopped out. 36 and 9 with 8 stopped out is 15%. So the running total, 344 full target, 79 partial target, 108 alerts have been stopped out, And so when you average all the percentages for the stop outs, it puts us at 20%. Most people focus on the other number, the profit number, but I chose to focus on the stop outs because one of the biggest things that we talk about is our aggressive risk management. And that starts in the live training room, day one when you come in on the trial, right up through when you become a partner, and until you spread your tiny wings and fly away, I guess. We're always hammering that. Michael's always hammering that, the aggressive risk management. It really makes a difference. If you have a definable edge, and you know how to execute the edge, and you also know how to determine when you don't have an edge, and you're able to resist trading in the market, well, what do you think, Michael?
I think if you have a definable edge, that's all you need. Definable edge and aggressive risk management strategy that you actually stick to. That is what you need. That is all you need.
Discipline. That's key.
You can have discipline. Discipline.
The 6B last night, we didn't have very many alerts last night because things were just so quiet. But again, I don't know if you were listening, Michael, when I talked about this earlier, but last night's work indicates that this could be potentially the most volatile week we've seen since the real estate crash.
Really?
I'm not predicting that's going to happen, but I can't ignore it, and it would be wrong not to mention it. But I mean, it sure doesn't look like it from last night and today so far. So I don't know what will kick it off, kick-start it, if it'll come to pass or not. But yeah, I mean, like living in the land of giants kind of stuff. Remember those huge swings when the S&P headed for 666 on the downside?
Yeah.
I mean, those were just giant. There were such huge swings, they were practically untradeable. But now the 6B, we had a nice little run up from 13165 to 13195 to 13220. The swing high was 13219. Missed the second target by one tick. One tick. On the 6E, man, we sailed past on the 6E. Where is that? I think I have it. Yeah. 6 easy. Yeah. On the 6E, it was 16140, which 1.1 6140. Yeah, we were way down here. So we caught this thing right here, 16140. Come. You could do it. That happens. 11614. It's way down here. No, already. Right there is 116145.
116.
Yeah. So that's the spot. 116140. And our final target was up at 116240. 116240. This is a 30-minute chart, so it doesn't look too terribly far. But what's that in dollars and cents, Michael?
116 140 to 240.
Yeah. That's
That
100
would
something
be
shekels. What do they call that?
it's 625 per tick, and it is 20 ticks, so it's $120, I think, right? Is it 20 ticks or 200 ticks?
Well,
I think it's 20 ticks, right? It's 100 difference, 140 to 240.
well, it went from 140 to 240. So is that
Right.
Wait a minute. 140 to 240. Is that is that 100 ticks?
5 per tick.
Okay, so you take 100 and divide it by 5.
Right.
So you come
divided by 5, so you get 20 ticks times 6.25.
He continued on up to here, pulled back, would have been an exit signal here above the exit. So, but the swing high took us all the way up to, so 116.58. I'm gonna make a chart. I'm gonna make a chart for everybody, because I think since they cut the, since they whacked the euro, and did they whack the 6B?
Yeah, they whacked the euro, the 6B. They hit the Russell, and the other ones, the Dow and Nasdaq, were already down.
These are all, of course, last week's zones, guys. Crude, we dropped from 71.90 to 71.60, and that worked out quite well multiple times. And I made mention of that to you guys last week on a couple of different, see, here's 71.90 down to 71.60. 71.90 to 71.60, that's $300 per contract. And then we get back above 71.90. And this time we make it to 71.60 again. Back above the trigger again. So we had 3 triggers that went from 71.90 to 71.60. 1, 2, 3. And so on the recaps, I don't mention the other 2. There's just not enough time in a day to chase them and track them all down. But I wrote over the week, Friday or over the weekend, that I know I always say that when you trail a stop, you have to leave something on the table. That's just the nature of trailing a stop. But if you are not looking at the additional triggers that could come hours later, even a day later, if you're not kind of keeping an eye out for those, you're not staying busy, and you're making a
John is out in the audience.
You're making a conscious decision to leave money on the table. Same thing about waiting for exit signals. Okay, you're making a conscious decision to leave money on the table. The stop loss, there's no choice in the matter. So anyway, just wanted to go over a couple of those things. And if you're ready, Michael, then you can fire up John's mic.
Yep, I got it. It's open.
Because that was him on the phone. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for the invite. Not too bad, thanks. You know, a lot of things happened. There's so much news in the last few days. It's hard to keep up with it. But and we're getting, you know, we're in a pretty volatile market situation today. That's slightly more bearish than bullish because of the Nasdaq being down the way it is. But that could get fixed before the close. We're in a bit of a tug of war here. You know, we had that, by the way, that rally Friday was pretty potent, and it was a very good, you know, it was pretty well thought through if it was engineered, because you know, it kind of prevented a possible 87 scenario today. I wouldn't rule it out that it's not over yet. But
you're talking about this little rally right here.
Yeah, well, look, the fact that we rallied as strongly as we did on Friday was pretty impressive. And I know the stocks look terrible on the chart and everything, but stranger things have happened. You know, if we were to break out above this sort of range that you're showing right now, especially better than expected, and you get some gap ups in Google or Amazon or Facebook or any of these things, you know, that could change the whole picture to be very positive. The VIXs, you know, the VIXs kind of got a bit overdone last week. On the upside, they put in a double top Thursday and Friday, so that was one of the reasons why we had that late sell-off in the VIXs. We have come in higher today, and we've rallied a bit, but not too enthusiastically, although we're getting another buy signal potential buy signal right here, right now, on the VIXs, and we're probably getting another sell signal on the market. So since we're only up 11 on the 12 on the Dow, we're actually negative on the S&P right now, negative on the Nasdaq. I mean, the picture is not that terrific, frankly, unless we recoup something, a lot more. The Saudi market being down as much as it was as well. They're sort of up off those lows right now. I think that Saudi threat, because of what's happening, is probably less of a deal at the moment, but it's something that people should keep in the back of their minds if this whole Saudi thing gets out of control. Because if they could, if they start restricting oil supplies, which they could, pretty easily, the price of oil could easily go to $100 real quick, and this could add
we ramp up our own production to compensate?
Well, look, we've got the strategic oil reserves, which could nullify that, but we just get a lot of volatility in the meantime. So there's cold winter as well on top of it. Things could get pretty intense, and a very tight market in general. So and they listen, we don't have any productive capacity to make up. We're maxed out. We can't turn it on and off like the Saudis. We can turn it off. We can't increase like they possibly can, even though they may be maxed out. So if they shut down, if they shut a few million barrels a day out of the market, that would have a very dramatic impact. It'd be at least $5 or $10 a barrel almost immediately. So, listen, every bull market dies of something. If it's not the Fed, I heard this expression, bullet in the head. They have a habit of putting a bullet in the head of the bull, at the top of every rally. And this is an incredible rally. This is a very, very steep rally. We're really in very high territory right now, as we've seen by the way these stocks came down last week. So we're getting a little bit of strength coming back.
Chart right here of the S&P.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. It almost looks guaranteed to have another leg down, but you can never say never, so if we suddenly went up 30 or 40 S&P points, that this it could change everything. So there's no guarantees in this, especially if the FANGs come in better than expected, and maybe even Apple comes in better than expected. So Apple's down a bit today, but not by too much, and some of the most beaten up issues are actually positive. So that's even Tesla kind of started out weak, and it's getting stronger now. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But you've got to. We've been in and out a few times this morning already, and I've just and more or less nailed it. Each sell-off and rally, so a rally this afternoon would be a real positive in my view, because possibility of it continuing tomorrow would be fairly high. And I think you've got Netflix coming out this afternoon as well. And if Netflix gaps up by $50 or something, which it probably will, it's definitely going to increase. It's almost for sure going to increase its subscribers. Will it beat expectations? That's the we don't know yet whether that's the sort of the decider, if you like, as to whether this thing is going to go further down or rally. And you remember, a lot of times when they knock down the prices before the earnings, it usually means a lot of times it means the earnings, the stocks will go up on the earnings. So that's the sort of wild card we just don't know the answer to right now. One of the things that is going on today is the grains. There's obviously some, remember I said there's you know, if there's a buyer, you know, whether it's China or Europe or Latin America, buying grains, you know, you're going to feel it pretty quickly. And the grains are on fire today in a huge way. We're up 19 on the beans, and if I remember, I said to you on Friday it'd be a good idea to go home long the beans. The corn is up. Well, it's not up huge, it's only up 4. Wheat was down earlier on. It's up. Soy meal is up 9. The oats have gone absolutely crazy to the upside. They're up 11 today. They were up 15 at one point, 16, 17. So there's something huge going on with oats, which I pointed out quite a while back. And in fact, since it was around, I think it was around 2:30 when we said the bottom, we thought was the bottom was in, and we're up 300 today. So that's a really staggering rebound. We also put a buy on the lumber this morning. The gold is up $8. Mm-hmm. Looking better and better. The gold stocks went higher this morning. The dusts had a bit of a rebound. I'd probably buy the gold stocks right here, right now. We sold them earlier on. Bought the dust. I'd switch. I'd probably sell the dusts and switch back into the golds right now. The other good news is, and it's not over yet, but the dollar was on the low of the week and day last few weeks, short while ago. It's rallying a little bit right now, but the currency's looking a lot better. The dollar's looking a lot worse. If we start breaking 94 on the dollar, I think that's going to be very good for the metals. Having got up to about 12.34 or so this morning, we're down at 12.30 at the moment. You know, if we start getting above the 12.35 area and the silver, remember I said 14.75 is an important area. If we get back over 14.75 towards 14.80, it probably projects the silver up to about 15.30 and the gold to at least 12.50. So the gold is really coming together, and it's been some interesting articles out in the last few days by some of the big players who usually don't come out of the woodwork until there's a bottom in place on the gold. So the fact that the gold is getting, there was a big article in Forbes last week about 5 reasons why your portfolio should contain gold. Very compelling, all the reasoning behind this. And the stock market, as I've said before, can benefit from a bit of inflation. So, that could be, and of course, a weaker dollar. So a weaker dollar means higher inflation. I think the tariffs are going to deliver the inflation. It just hasn't kicked in yet, but in the coming months, I think the inflation numbers are going to reflect the impact of the tariffs in a pretty big way, actually. So, a few things, the Saudi situation is very troubling, very sad. And I guess you heard this reaction to Kanye West last week, and these disgraceful comments by people on CNN and MSNBC, yeah, calling it sad. How could you call something like that sad? And saying that Kanye West's mother was rolling in her grave. I'm telling you now, she'd be rejoicing in the clouds of heaven. If she probably is. And the guy who's rolling in his grave is Adnan Khashoggi, because Adnan Khashoggi was a very powerful guy in the last 50 years in Saudi Arabia. I mean, and some of the things he did for Saudi Arabia, you can't even fathom. He put it on the map. He was the go-between between the U.S. and Saudi for a generation, and because he died earlier on this year, they probably thought they could, nail Jamal. And the problem is Jamal, because he was a palace insider and an advisor, he probably knows everything, including some things they probably were scared of a journalist knowing, all kinds of things. I mean, he probably knows everything. So that's one of the reasons why he was a target. And he also had a lot of, listen, met Osama bin Laden a few times. He'd tried to get, defang him, if you like, but there was a lot of stuff that happened around 9/11 that he probably knows about. A lot of the things that happened. So he probably was a risk, was a security risk, and he may have been recruited by I don't want to mention any names, but he may have been recruited. So that could be another issue, just like this guy in Russia, the Russian guy in England. So there's, I mean, if you think about it, why would somebody go to the just like the previous fellow who was nuked back in the 2009, I think it was, Livitchenko. Why are these guys taken out? Because they got something on the leadership, basically, is probably the reason. And this is the same sort of thing with Jamal Khashoggi.
So they have video of him walking into the embassy, right? But there's no video of him walking out. And we, nor anyone else, can go inside the embassy to look for evidence.
Well, they're gonna allow investigators in.
Oh, they are
soon, yeah. But apparently the cleaning crew arrived this morning. It's not a very good sign.
I can just see it now. These 3 vans pull up out front and they all say Acme Cleaning on the side.
It's terrible. We shouldn't be laughing about that.
No, it's a horrific thing. I mean, but is there any? Have you come up with any other plausible?
I think that's it. I think that's it. He was compromised by a few things, and listen, you can't rule out. Listen, there are, just in the same way, there's probably rogue elements of the CIA and FBI, like we found out. In these countries, there are zealots, religious zealots and fanatics who I mean, it's like, look at the cartels in Mexico. There's a lot of power. If they want to go and do something, they can probably do it to anybody. So you've got these rogue elements within the government or within the society that could potentially pull something like this off. So I mean, it's not inconceivable that it could happen without the knowledge of the crown prince or the king.
Well,
and they certainly didn't think it through. Yeah, that's for sure.
This business about his Apple Watch recording his own murder, and then Apple coming back, or other technical folk coming back and saying that it's not possible because there's no roaming service for the Apple Watch in that area. Did you hear that?
Well, no, but if it was Wi-Fi, it could have got sent, to the cloud. I think it said it got sent to the cloud as well.
Okay, I didn't hear that part.
Definitely.
The guy that was trying to disprove it said there was no roaming service and Bluetooth. If he left his cell phone in the car, and it's too much distance for his watch to communicate by Bluetooth with his phone in the car, and he left his girlfriend. He left her sitting in the car. I mean, like, he wasn't planning to be in there very long, whatever his reason was for being there. Correct? It's an unusual situation.
Yeah. Boy, this grain move is really something. It's a real big one.
On the Concierge Trade Alerts last night, we recommended getting long at 870, and we got no exit signal yet. We've already climbed 17, 18 points. That's quite a distance. Looking, I had something here I was going to discuss with you, and I don't see. Let me try again. Today is the 15th. There we go. There we go. Something here caught my eye. Some individuals. Now I understand how sanctions work against a company. How do they work against an individual?
Sometimes these fellows have bank accounts that can be frozen, and they can be denied entry to the country and things like that. So they got plenty of options to do things outside of, you know, affecting arms deals and things like that.
Meghan Markle is pregnant.
Is pregnant.
Yeah.
Good for her.
And Sears has filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
The announcement came on a day when Sears had a $134 million loan payment due. Eddie Lampert will remain chairman but step down as CEO, with a 3-person committee taking over to lead the restructuring. Lampert's hedge fund will put up $300 million in bankruptcy financing. The company, once a leading retail innovator, has cut its workforce from 302,000 a decade ago to 68,000 today, as it shut more than 1,000 stores due to plunging sales and overwhelming competition from big box stores and online rivals. Sears will close another 142 of its remaining stores by year's end. And speaking of empty stores, I saw an article this morning that kind of surprised me. They say Manhattan is becoming a bit of a ghost town. Have you heard that?
Well, no, I haven't, but it doesn't surprise, you know, in terms of, you know, it's sort of like probably like the Harrods syndrome in London, you know, where a decade ago Harrods was sort of on its peak, and today apparently it's not doing as well. Most of the Harrods stores are having problems of one sort or another. So
this article here, it said New York's empty storefronts are a dark omen for the future of cities. These days, walking through parts of Manhattan feels like occupying two worlds at the same time. In a theoretical universe, you're standing in the nation's capital of business, commerce, and culture. But in the physical world, the stores are closed, the lights are off, and the windows are plastered with for lease signs. Long stretches of famous thoroughfares like Bleecker Street in the West Village and Fifth Avenue in the East 40s are filled with vacant storefronts. Their dark windows serve as daytime mirrors for rich pedestrians.
well, there's a lot of reasons, you know. The rents are very high.
Oh, yeah.
Price themselves out of the market. The ability to get to these places, you know, to shop, transportation wise, sometimes it's hard, you know, there's no parking and things like that, unlike, you know, going to a mall, I guess, things like that. So it's and then a lot, you know, there is so much business being done online.
Yeah. Well, they blame it on three things, and you just hit two of them right there. There are at least three interlinked causes. First, the rent, as you may have heard, is just too high. And then the second thing, the pain of soaring rents is exacerbated by the growth of online shopping. It's typically simplistic to point to a problem in the U.S. and say, well, because Amazon, but it's no coincidence that New York storefront vacancy is climbing, just as warehousing vacancy in the U.S. has officially reached an all-century low. A lot of goods are moving from storefronts to warehouses, where they are placed in little brown boxes rather than big brown bags. And what does this fellow say the third? He said he had three reasons. I don't see his third reason here. But yeah, you nailed the two right there. The rents, the online shopping, and wow, imagine, you know, like in Phoenix, many years ago, there was a great exodus from the inner city out to the suburbs, and it left downtown Phoenix virtually a ghost town. I mean, You could go down in the middle of the day and there just weren't that many stores. Oh, now it's a complete renaissance. I mean, it's very vibrant. There's people everywhere. You know, ASU has a campus downtown. There's just, you know, a lot happening. Seeing Phoenix go dark and watching New York City go dark, it's kind of two different things. And the criminal element, the dark element, boy, they could really take a hold on a city if they're not careful. So, but I don't see an easy answer. Landlords probably don't want to lower their rents, and many of those buildings have probably been held for generations by families. So at worst, they're out property tax on some of them. And you're just not gonna stop people from shopping online. As long as they can get it and get it in a day or two, and there's free shipping, why go out? And especially in New York, why go outside and risk being mugged or worse, you know, when you can have your doorman bring it up to you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're starting to push on the upside now, Dwayne, so it's definitely getting better. Definitely getting better here.
If we can punch up above 7,200, yeah, I think we got a shot. We got a shot. All right, it's kind of a quiet Monday. What else you want to cover?
No, listen, I think we've got everything done, but thanks very much for the invite, and we'll
all right, John, thank you.
Tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
As always,
Bye-bye.
a pleasure, and I'll talk to
You too.
Then. Okay,
Bye.
Bye-bye. Back to the ES. Last night on the ES, Concierge Trade Alert said to consider being long at 27.68. Should be right about there. 78. Swing high here, 68.75. So trigger into a drawdown, and then we get another rally. It takes us from 68 up to a swing high at 74 at 6 points. Now we've triggered again, and so far we're up to 62, so that's 4 points. Not so bad. The short side 27.55, and we got down to a low 51.25, so 4.75 points. Oh my gosh, I didn't open the chat box. Sorry guys. Just buy the SB and never sell. You can't lose, because after 2009 the Fed will always backstop the market, ensuring that it'll only go up long term. Well, Don, there, you know, if someone can weather the drawdowns, yeah, I mean that's basically what Warren Buffett said. You know, just buy an index fund and forget about it. I agree. Karen says that she shows Netflix tomorrow for their earnings. Don says government puts limits on the downside, but not on the upside. It's a fixed market with no chance of losing. Huh. You should go on tour and explain that to all the people who've lost money. You'd probably become a cult hero. Thanks, Karen. Netflix is tomorrow, not today. Okay. All right. On the Dow, to consider being long, 25,370. $25,370. Should be right about here. Swing high right here. 25,369. Yeah, not making that up. There it is, swing high. So No false trigger there, but ooh, you came close. So from 25,370, put in a high of 427. So that's 50 points. And no, yes, we did. 25,200. And from 25,200 we dropped to 25,111. So at 90 points, $50 a or $5 a point. It's $450 per contract available. 250 up there. Okay. Oh, the Russell. Oh, I gotta go back and show you something on the ES here in a minute with that trend line that I put in. Now this will really, just those who were in the channel last night will know you got that chart I sent out. On the Russell, we were looking to be long 1557, which is this area we've just now hit. Crude, I already marked that. We wanted to get short 71.30. 71.30. The swing low here was 27. Okay, so that would have triggered you, most likely stopped you out. And then from 71.30, we get to a low of 85. 45 points. And then another trigger. And we could end up with another NQ. There we go. NQ. Okay, the evening started. We're back over here. And on the NQ, consider buying 71.80, which we never touched. And on the flip side, consider selling 71.20. And from 71.20, this time we made it down to 71.02. It's about $360 per contract. This time we made it all the way down to 70.60. 70.60. So that's 60. So that's $1,200 per contract available. Gold, $1,225, $1,000 per contract at the swing high, which nobody gets. At the exit signal, got you out with $800 per contract. Beans we already looked at. And the bonds, on the L2 we were stopped out on the bonds, I do believe. And here, ZBZ, yep, same thing. A stomp out on the beans. Now, on the ES, I had said last night, where's that little chart? Here we go. This one. Okay, so this was last night. Trend line is from the swing high to the swing high to the swing high. And that spike, we just let it spike it. Now, watch what happens when we go to the real-time chart right now. So fix that in your mind's eye. And now, bullish cross right there, right at the trend line. So when I see, you hear me say things like, look for those things that make your already high probability trade setup even higher, more probable. And bullish cross, price pulls back to the BBC, then it runs again, and it pulls right back to the BBC, staying above that trend line. It pushes it up. I mean, when you get all these things coming together, now you got the trend line, you got the Concierge Trade Alert. It makes now on the L2, we had a nice 5-point trade, I believe it was right here. That one ran ES 52 to 50 to 47. 52 to 50 to 47. And so that took us from 52 50 47. The swing low $45.25. Yeah, nice little 5 points to the downside. That was on L2. Now again, over the past 10 weeks, we have averaged, I broke down all the weeks, did all the math, stratified, classified, and we're averaging 20%, stopped out on the L2 so far. We'll continue to plug along and see what happens. That's actually a number I'm not going to complain about. Not now, not ever, because that's good. Let's take a look at our good word for the day. Stand by. All right. These are some numbers that might shock you, and maybe not. Philippians 1:20 says, I will in no way be ashamed. Over half of all Christians now live in the third world, often in anti-Christian environments. More Chinese take part in Sunday worship than all of the Western Europeans combined. Lebanon is 40% Christian. Sudan 5%. Egypt about 10%. Many of these saints worship at their own risk. Consider their plight. If you were one of them, you may be the only Christian in your Iraqi university, or an Arab woman who offers prayers in silence, or a secret believer in an underground church, or perhaps you're in a society of religious freedom, but a community of spiritual oppression. Family members. Now, you and I, we wake up on a Sunday morning at 7:30 so we can be there by 10. And boy, the first thing is, I've heard it preached at church that we should, have to take a day of rest. All kinds of reasons. And then we finally realize that we're just fooling ourselves, and we get up and we get dressed and we go. But these people, oh my goodness. See, this is true faith, because we all believe the same thing. But look at what they do with what they believe compared to what some of us do with what we believe. Not trying to shame anybody or myself, just trying to put it in perspective. Family members mock your beliefs. University professors belittle your convictions. Classmates snigger at your choices. Colleagues pressure you to compromise your integrity. Co-workers make it their mission to snag you in a weak moment. If that's where you find yourself, stand up for Jesus. Now, Paul wrote these words from his prison cell. He said, I know that through your prayers and the help given by the Spirit of Jesus Christ, what has happened to me will turn out for my deliverance. I eagerly expect and hope that I will in no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage, so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or by death. For to me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain. Philippians 1:19 through 21. The hymnist wrote many years ago, stand up for Jesus, ye soldiers of the cross. Lift high his royal banner. It may not suffer loss. From victory unto victory, his armies shall he lead, till every foe is vanquished, and Christ is Lord indeed. Friends, we live in a country where we do have religious freedom. Somebody might laugh at you, but no one's going to imprison you or execute you. And so let's make sure that we don't take that privilege, that honor, for granted. Let us not be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and let us go forth, spread the good news, and make disciples of men and women. That's our good word for the day. I have one more chart. I have one more chart I want to show you. And I flashed it up earlier, but here, right there, 24% retracement, 38% retracement, 50% Fibonacci retracement, and this is, by the way, a daily chart. Daily. Now, take a look at this candle here. Thursday, that would be. Well, let's go back one. From the 38, it stretches all the way down to the 62. Then we have an inside day. Now we're having another inside day. This is what it looked like last night. That's the exact same daily chart. I just blew it up so that you can see it a little better. This is what it looked like. We need to take, and this line, the upper trend line should be touching the top of the wick of the second candle. Okay, I should have drawn it a little better, but I didn't. Now, if we go to that same chart right now, remember, don't expect another candle because those are daily candles. So we did come down and flirt with the bottom side, and we flirted with the top side, but we are still clearly inside So we got an inside day followed by an inside day. If you don't know what that means, just Google it up. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Okay. An inside day of an inside day. When we come out of here, it should be with some passion, with some fury. Now remember, my work last night shows that there's giants in the land. Now, I think it wasn't until, what, midweek last week that we sort of shook loose and took off, but you know, it would have been this day right here, the 10th. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, today. Whichever way we take off could determine whether or not the market gets another leg up or another leg down. If we get another leg down, we're looking at potentially 2684. Now that's almost 100 points below us in the S&P, and should that not hold, then we got good support down around 2600. It's 160 points below us. So give that a little bit of thought. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.